Well, my challenge today is to do this watercolour, or do a watercolour based upon, and I've suddenly lost my picture, here it is, this one. This is an old fallen tree on the shoreline here on the River Orwell out in Essex. I went there a couple of years ago and had a very nice couple of days around there. Superb. So we've got the River Orwell here. The sea is out in that direction, but we've got this lovely formation and these nice colours here, this yellow warm colours. So I've got to try and get that subtlety of that sky and this sea here, the river, and all these shapes, dark shapes here, and warmth, reddish colours there and some greens. So I'm going to have a go at that. I've sketched it out, but I fear you probably not seeing that too well, because it's too faint. But anyway, as I put in some colours, I'm sure you will see. It will tracking cancel. That's what I've got. Right. Let's put on a wash. All over here. I'm afraid you're going to get a little bit of reflection from my overhead lights here. Well, not too bad when I look through the camera anyway. No, I think you're getting a better view than I am. Right, so I'll put this on with my mop brush here. Let's just get that a good soak. Because I want a graduated wash down here over the sky. So I want a nice colour. So I think I'm going to go for cobalt today. A nice cobalt. Except I've just, for some reason, had a bit of orange has gone into my blue. I recharged my wells the other day, and I think overly some of the orange has run into my blue there. So excuse me while I have a little cleanup here. Last thing you want is your blue to be contaminated, certainly with a orange. So let's clean a well up a little bit. That's right, let's clear it up. Right, that will do. Right, back to the blue wash. So I've got various blues on my palette. You can see here, cadmium there, cerulean. Over here it's ultramarine. A bit of cerulean there, so let's put a bit in. But I had to see my oranges there. I filled that up, closest box, and of course it dropped in to my blue there. But nothing lost. Oh, let's put a bit of cerulean. Let's have a nice Nice colour. Made a nice puddle there. Got a lot of water on here. It's granulating as well, which is what a feature of French ultramarine anyway. And we'll just dab off some of that. I think we can use this tissue there to give us a little bit of light at this lower level. Right, we can leave that. And while that's drying, or drying off for a little bit, I think I can go and get some more sandy or ochre colour to get this foreshore. Let's get a nice bit of colour going here. Yes, I think that's that bank we can do. I'm going to leave a little bit of a white line there for the moment. Don't want it bleeding in. That's right. Just get our first wash in. So I'll do this in sort of layers really. Put my lightest lights in first of all, and then put the darker things in later. But when this is dry, I will put some greens, some browns. Actually, I could, well, it's still a little damp, I can use a bit of umber here. And dab a little bit in here. Yes, I think. Yes. Give me some of that on that bank there. There as well. I've got some really quite big darks down there. Some sparkles. So there's all the detritus of the beach here. Fallen branches and a little bit of this bank is falling away. So I think I should leave that for a moment. I think I could put my hairdryer on it to speed it up just a little. dried it off a little bit now. Tracking, that's right. Let's have a little with the hairdryer. So I think I could get a smaller brush now, and I might try this little dagger brush. This is a Pro Art medium. It's got a bit of a dagger shape on it. Let's just see what we can do with that. I need some greens to put in this bank here. Yes, that's what we need. Let's, this is fairly dry now, so we can get away with that. A little dry brush work as well. A little bit more green. That's right. Now we can get some more warmer colour here. So I'm using a bit of ochre, a bit of raw sienna. It's a big bank here. It's all crumbling actually. It's all eroded a bit by the action of the sea. I think we've got to get that fairly bright. So let's try and maintain some lights. I want to vary it as well. Vary the colours. I said it's all breaking away here, but I mustn't get too much into the details too early. I've still got a lot more washes or blocking in to do really, but I've got the colour, why not use it? And here of course I've got to map in our trunks of our trees. Which are probably the star feature, I think, of this. Some of these here. Yes, I can help with that. I can still see the outline of my rough sketch, of course. I don't know whether you could see it, probably not. But I can firm up on some of these branches with a different brush. all a tangle of brush, of branches actually, all along here. You can still see, as I say, my rough outline. I've got more here. I'm going to put a different brush shortly. I'm just going to get my main shape in. Big bow there. All a higgledy-piggledy, a real mixture of shapes and things. Come here, project into that water there. And we've got other trees a bit in the distance there. And we've got some there, so I think we'll get a different brush now so we can firm up on that. But actually, while I'm got a big brush handy, I think I need to deal with that sea. So let's get a bit more going for this. That's the River Orwell coming there. I'm just going to leave that the way it is. And then let's get back to some sort of different brush for the trees and this bank. It's, yes, this is what we need. Got a number 8 here, number 8 round. So let's get a bit more control with this one. Get a mixture of umber and perhaps a little bit of ultramarine as well to give me some more dark, serious dark. Yes, this one here, there's a big sort of elbow there. There's a tree. All crumbling away, and we've put the shadows in, of course, as we go. It's appropriate time. Let's get some more darks going. pushing the brush a little bit harder as I get nearer the trunk, so we get a thicker line there. We've got to thicker and blacker towards the middle, of course, because you don't get so much light in the heart of a tree. Pushing down a little thicker there. We've got a lot of trees out here as well, which I need to deal with. Yes, we've got a big one here. Very gnarly old tree. Oh, seen better day, I think. These are sort of coming to the end of their life there. Certainly, let's get a bit of green going in some of the areas too. So I've got a mixture of greens, sap green, hooker's green, viridian. So let's just block this in a little bit, as we have there. And of course that will give me a contrast with this light and hopefully make that read a little better. And let's get some different greens and oranges. This soil there is quite bright. Got different colours, all the sediments. Let's get a little bit of red into mixture here. I think I'll give some height to this as well. We need there to help draw in here. Okay. Then we'll get a little finer brush work for the branches, of course, finer ones. But I think we'll press on with this one for the moment. Let's remember that one. I'm wondering, should I put a little bit of colour there, just to suggest a little bit of foliage still? Yes, I think we should. Right. Now, sort of tangle of twigs, small branches. Of course, they're set against the sun as well, so you see it a little bit more silhouetted, really. Sort of emphasizes it somewhat. All right, that's just a few more twigs here. Small branches. Sort of lattice work, really. That's what you're seeing when you're there. Let's leave that for the moment. Then I could perhaps do something to try and emphasize the darkness here. Bit of iridium in places, just to give us some variety. But I've got to get some of the shadow marks as well. So let's get a bit of ultramarine and a little bit of cadmium red. I'm going to make a shadowy colour because it's definitely shadows cast like this under here. Yes, I think so. Dark under here. Little shadows cast by that bank. Right. Now what I'm going to do is put some texture into the foreshore. How do we do that? A little bit of tap. Yes, that's what we can do. But I think before we'll do that, we'll put a little bit more, even perhaps a bit of dry brush. Let's have a look what I've got. Yes, so I've got a number 12 round. I think that's will help us with get some cover here. And then we've got to get that texture in. Got to do that. We've got to get our tones right before we start a bit of splattering. Now squinting my eyes to see what I've got there, and I think I could put a little bit of warmth, so I'm going to go for a little bit of yellow and just put a bit of warmth in there. I think so, yes, on that back there. Bit of sunlight. And let's get on with that foreshore though. We've got to put some now it's going all the wrong place. Wait a minute. That's it. There's lots of little stones and things there. Giving a little bit more definition to some of the larger pebbles and rocks that I have in the foreground. That'll do. And there's something in this right hand side as well. On that line there though, I want a little bit of darkness. That's it. Yes, it's okay. Now I'm standing back and squinting my eyes. I'll see where I need to make some improvements on the shadows and the right. And along this side, actually, I need to put a little bit of water, a few lines in the sea, just to show what's happening there. Suggest the direction of the wind a little bit. And then I could put some white elements in as well, just to give it a little bit of a pop in certain places. There's a bleached old fallen log here. So I'm using a bit of Chinese white here. Try and suggest something. And we've also got a little bit of, yes, we can put some light on some of these boughs there, yes. I can see that. It's catching the light, which is coming from the right. Yes. Yes, catching a bit here and there. Sometimes helps to add a little touch of white here and there. Lighter shades. More on this bank as well. But I think a bit more texture actually as well. Let's get some bit of splattering going, I think. So get a bit of brown, a little bit of give me a few little marks. Just suggest a few rocks and a little bit odd stones and twigs and things, which there were. shadow, that tree up there. Let me see. Right. Now the thing is, I've got a little fan brush here. I could add a little bit of texture with that. Up in here, some grasses there. And we could even use a little bit here. Right, now have I done enough? What about just a little bit of white along that margin of the sea, perhaps? Can I get some, perhaps I should have some gouache for this, but I've got Chinese white at the moment to hand. I'll make a stiff mixture because I can just see little bits of water coming along here. I think it would stand out a bit better if I had a bit of a darker blue though as the foil for it, so I'm going to just bite the bullet and put a little bit darker in there. That's it. That'll do. I think, yes, got to bring it down. That'll do it. And then the odd darker marks. Something of the sea there. Some lines coming in there. Yes, I think we should do that. A little bit of seaweed and various stuff just left on that margin there. Little patches of green on the stones. Right. Well, I think I'm going to leave it at that. Let's say this is River Orwell, and this old tree which has come to the end of its life, I think. I think I need it a little darker under there, perhaps. Yes, that'll do it. Anyway, if you liked it, please give me a thumbs up, and consider subscribing if you haven't already done. There's no charge for that, but you'll be notified when I do new work. And also, I'm interested in any comments, any feedback that you have, whether you paint or not. I'll be interested to hear. Thanks for watching.